right, here we go. Good morning, good afternoon, good night to everyone who's watching this around the world. We're back. The podcast is back. Finally, we have a guest. He is none other than Steven Peterson, UFC fighter. He just retired from MMA from competition. Steven, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing excellent. Thanks for having me on.
It's an honor to have you on. And man, you had a great career. You had a great UFC career as
Yeah,
well. So what was the reason that made you
yeah,
stop fighting for retire completely from MMA?
I got what I came for, man. There's a reason why I started fighting, and eventually it became a job, right? It became I was started fighting for the fans. I started fighting for the money, and the fans don't give a fuck about us. Money's not worth it. It's putting in as much work and effort as I put into MMA, I could do just about anything else and be successful. And I got what I came for. I got my legacy. Um, Now I got to use that and not risk that. So every time you step in the cage, you're risking everything you work for. So once I accomplished that and I accomplished my goals, I got to the level that I was at. Um, it was one of those things where it's just not worth risking what I risking my future, risking my basically what I've established, my legacy. Now I got to share that. I got to share my story, and I got to build the students up beneath me. I got to build up my promotion, and I'm not gonna be able to do that and fight at the same time. So I had to step away from the octagon so that I can do what I'm supposed to do.
So as a fighter, you've been fighting for 13 years, is that correct? You started in 2010 as
50.
a professional? 15, yeah, 15 years. So would you say the money is not really worth it, to be honest? Like a lot of people actually say that, but some people disagree. Would you say the money is not worth it?
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I was making good money with the UFC. Um, the UFC treated me great, but I had to go through poverty in order to get there. I was making less than 20 grand a year before I got to the UFC. So, and then once I got to the UFC, it's like I fought once in the past year, not by my choice. So I have no choice of when I'm going to fight. So, even though I'm making good money, yeah, there's no telling when it's going to come again when I'm going to get paid again. So, I'd rather you know walk out on my own terms, put the ball in my own court, and I can make a hell of a lot more promoting, running my business, doing a bunch of other things for the effort that I put in um, than I did fighting. So, I love fighting. It was my dream, and now it's a past dream. So now I have other dreams that I want to accomplish, and I'm working towards those.
So would you say that you actually kind of lost the love for the game? Like you don't
Nah,
really like it as
nah,
much?
I love the game. I just I accomplished my dreams, and it's time for other people to accomplish their dreams. So I stole people's dreams in order to live my dreams. Everybody I beat, you know, it's me or them. So I just didn't have that dog anymore that wanted to take food off of other people's plate. I want to help people. I want to build people up. So once I realized that, I was like, nah, like that's how you really get hurt in there if you don't have that dog. And in the second round, I looked in his eyes and I just felt it. I was like, you know, this kid's beat me to the punch. I'm a I'm a dog. I didn't find the dog. I was like, okay, the dog's not there anymore. Why was the dog created? The dog was created from adversity. I'm not facing the same adversities I once was. So uh yeah, it's one of those things where when you're not in pain, what's the point of being that dog? I'm no longer that person. Now I'm a coach. Now I'm a father. I've been a father, and my son's looking up to me. And when I lay somebody out in there, he's worried. He's worried about me getting laid out in there. He's worried I'm going to kill somebody or get killed. So if he's not in it, then I'm not in it, and I'm not in it for the same reasons that I was once in it for. I started fighting for a paycheck, and that's not why I started. So it's time to walk away.
So Speaking of taking someone's dreams, how do you feel when you're in there and you beat somebody and you
Yeah.
look in his eyes and you see the disappointment, the sadness, the freaking, that feeling that they have? Well, how do you
I used,
feel when you see someone go through that adversity after the fight, after you beat them? How does it feel for you,
it
especially?
used to feel incredible. It used to feel incredible. It was like taking their soul. I would feel like power up, power up, power up. And then after recent fights, it was like I felt some sort of remorse. It was like, oh shit, man, I really fucked that dude up. And then their life and their career goes downhill. So feeling that, you can't be feeling guilty when you're in there. You got to be in there taking people out. So you know, it, it's just not for me anymore. I want my students who have their struggles. I want to build them up, um, and I just want to help other people succeed.
And yeah, speaking of ruining lives and all that, you fought Chase Hooper and you beat Chase Hooper, and
Yeah.
he's a young kid. And we see these things with these young guys like Raul Rosales Jr. who fought this weekend. What do you think about these kids that are in the UFC? I mean, I'm the same age as Raul. I might not look like it, but I'm the same age as him. What do you feel like these kids that they come into the UFC is either too early or they don't have that in them? What do you feel about them? What do you tell those kids?
It's like it's hard to say because these kids they've been training since they were a lot younger, right?
Yeah,
So they're going to be much more skilled. And on the other hand, they're kids. So that's part of the reason why I walked away because it's like, well, you get beat by this kid, then you look bad. You beat this kid up, you look bad.
yeah.
So
It's a
that
lost
that
loss, to be
that
honest with you.
yeah, that led to that feeling when I was in there. It was like there's no winning, right? Unless I'm
Yeah,
fighting, guys my age, doing a Rosa or whatnot.
yeah,
There's tons of kids coming up, tons of kids coming up. When I fought Chase Hooper, I felt somewhat. I was like, if I lose this fight, I got to retire. And then I didn't feel like once I rocked him, and then he got off the hook,
yeah,
it was like, okay, I just got to fight smart. I didn't want to like dog him anymore. And that was
yeah.
that struggle, that was internal struggle in my mind where it was like, yeah, I got to take this kid out, but do I want to hurt this kid? But he's fucking good. He's gonna hurt me if I don't. And that's that internal struggle that you battle with.
Yeah. Ollie, do you have any questions for Steven? I'm sure you
Yeah.
do.
Is there any chance you come back to combat sports like boxing? We've seen a lot of MMA fighters going to boxing.
I'm promoting now. So the Fight Fit Fighting League, we're gonna be building up the basically each individual state. We're gonna be building up fighters and have
Yeah.
competitions between states. Uh, who knows? I'm young. I'm 32 years old,
Yeah.
so I'm not gonna say no, but there's gonna be a lot of things that would have to fall into place for me to even consider coming back. So no guarantees, but I'm okay if I don't come back. I'm okay if 5 years from now, who knows? Who knows what could happen? I'm still 32. Shoot, Randy Couture
Yeah.
came back at like 42,
Yeah,
45, something like
yeah.
that.
It was like 45, won the fucking heavyweight championship, the light heavyweight championship. That was crazy, man.
Yeah,
Anything
so
could happen.
not
Yeah,
out of
it's
the
just
picture.
Yeah.
yeah. It's the sport of MMA. Anything can happen.
Hey, it's
Literally
up to the
anything.
fans, really. If the
Yeah,
fans want me to come back,
Yeah.
then maybe the pieces fall into place. And there's a couple fights that might spark my interest. But like I said, I got other important things that got to precede that. My production company, my Fight
yeah.
Fit Fighting League, those got to proceed. And once those proceed, then maybe I can be in talks with UFC to kind of you know have the ball in my court.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of your fight fit league, what is it? Is it just boxing, MMA? What is it all about? Could you give us a little bit more
It
explanation?
is MMA, amateur and pro MMA.
Mm.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Amateur fighters. I mean, I guess they don't really get the attention that they deserve because there are a lot of good amateurs out there, and they don't get that
Man,
attention. A
it's
lot of them.
ridiculous. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
ridiculous how many good fighters there are coming up. And yeah, promoters are generally just they're the ones with the power, right? And the
yeah,
fighters are just the entertainment. So I want to put the ball in my court to where I'm treating the fighters like they're stars and I'm building them up like stars. And I feel like doing that will grow the sport, it'll grow the personalities, and I want to be a feeder league for the UFC.
I mean, yeah, I mean, as a fighter, you fought in the cage and you know what you want. So you know as a fighter what you want. And these kids, they're the same, they're fighters as well. So what you needed and you didn't have, you could provide for these kids. Like you can healthcare, good pay, good sponsorships, all that stuff. You can do all that. That's great. And this is great, man. I mean, the UFC doesn't offer healthcare, does it?
Yeah,
The UFC takes good care of us. They got some kind of health care, but not your traditional health care that you would get at a normal job.
Yeah, like when you retire, it's over, right? Like
Oh
you
yeah,
retire
yeah.
and after
yeah,
10 years, an injury, like after 5 year, an injury comes back from one of your fights and you go to the UFC, they're not gonna do anything to you. They might do it as a show of respect and them being good people, but they don't have that plan for everyone. I remember when Tim Sylvia came out and said that his screws in his hand from the Frank Mir fight was coming out. Dana White was like, I don't give a shit. The- yeah, do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. The UFC has been nothing but good to me. So
Yeah.
I would like to think that if I came back with some sort of issue, they would take good care of me. I'm still in good terms with the UFC. I still corner fighters, and you'll still see me around with the UFC.
Hope so.
Just not
Yeah.
just not inside
I,
of the
I
cage.
was just so sad that you retired. I was like, man, he's too
yeah.
young. Now you're here and you're telling me why and I putting the pieces together. I'm like, it kind of makes sense. Same thing with Jorge Masvidal. If you go
Yeah,
watch his last fight and his last couple fights, and then you go back and watch him in 2019, you kind of,
He got what he fought for. He
yeah,
got what he came
yeah,
for. So what's
yeah.
keeping him around?
He said it. He said, I'm rich. I'm done. I'm a multimillionaire. I had shit when I started this. Now I'm a multimillionaire. And when you put this, I'll put all this together, put the pieces together. And he said, I didn't have the motivation for the last couple of fights. And you put it in there and you're like, yeah, it makes sense. And same
Yep.
thing with you, man. I would put it together. I was like, yeah,
My
fucking makes
motivation is
sense.
helping others come up right now. So
Yeah.
um, the only way I'd ever get back in there is if it led to opportunities for
Helping
everybody.
someone. Yeah.
Yep.
So let me step into my time machine real quick. 15 years ago, 16 years ago, what made you start MMA?
I was street fighting. I was fighting in the backyard. I was the new kid getting picked on, Ocho picking on me. So I get in fights and teachers, what are you gonna do with your life? You're gonna end up dead or in jail. And I would have. I would end up dead or in jail, but I found MMA and I never looked back.
And we were glad that you found MMA and
yeah.
so Ollie, I feel like you got a question. Come on.
Um, like, how long ago, like how many fights ago, did you realize the dog wasn't there anymore?
It was the second round of my last fight. Um,
Uh,
I told myself if I lost to Chase Hooper that I would retire because I had no business losing that kid, and I beat him. If I
yeah,
joined Rosa, the dog was
Yeah.
there. The dog was there because that dude was trying to hurt me. And then when I fought in the last fight, it was like, okay, this guy's trying to hurt me if I fuck up. But what's gonna make me fuck up? Being that dog. So I was like, it was that struggle. It was like, okay, the dog's not there. I'm fighting a smart fight, but this kid's also beating me to the punch. He's quicker. So I needed that dog, but I wasn't willing to be that dog because I didn't want to. One, I didn't want to get slept and ruin my legacy. And two, I looked the kid in the eyes. I was like, this kid is like, this is his dream, and it's me or him. It's me or him. And was I put that into perspective? Okay, I beat that kid. He gets cut. I've done that too many times. I'm not going to be a journeyman. I'm not going to be a gatekeeper. That's not who I am. I'm a championship minded fighter. And if the cards aren't in my wheelhouse, then it's like, well, what am I doing here? Just being a stepping stone? No. Okay, I'm either a stepping stone or I'm breaking dreams. So that's not my role.
Yeah.
So you want to coach fighters and you've got your league and all that. So where do you see yourself in the next, let's say, 5, 6 years? Still coaching, or I'm sure your league will rise above the clouds and it will be one of the top leagues because of the things that you will offer in the future. I know you will be a great promoter, like just like you were a good fighter, you great fighter, I might add. You will be a great promoter. So do you have any more plans for your league?
Yeah, I want to get picked up by UFC Fight Pass. That's the goal. I just got to get from point A to point B, and that means show after show, continuing to grow. And I want my productions, Ocho TV Productions. I want my documentary, which is the story of Ocho. It's called True Grit. I want that picked up by UFC Fight Pass. And I have a bunch of other mini docu series and a couple other concepts that I would like picked up on Fight Pass. 5 years from now, I see Ocho TV being a channel on UFC Fight Pass or being my own app. If they want to work with me, I'd love, like, that's the goal. But regardless, I'm doing what I'm doing, and I'm going to make it happen on my own or with the league. I'd like to be commentating. I am acting. I have a couple movies coming out later this year, early next year that I already acted in. So I'm gonna continue building on that and just living all my dreams that everything I thought of when I was a kid, I'm still chasing those things. Fighting was a platform to give me the notoriety that I need to accomplish my other dreams. And now it's time to shoot for those. And then who knows, maybe when I'm actually world renowned for being a star, then I might consider coming back so that I can open up other doors.
I hope so. I hope so. I would love to see
Yeah.
one more fight, like one more fight. When you see
Yeah.
someone retire,
Join
it's
Rosa,
just
right? Join
one
Rosa.
more fight. It's like
Yeah.
one more fight. Every time someone retires, I'm like, I wish I could see him one more time. Yeah, we need that. If that's,
Yeah. Money.
if we got the money, yeah, why not? Let's do it, right?
Money, but first my people got to eat. The
Yeah.
money is not the most important thing. The money is necessary, but everything else is more important. So
So,
if I get picked up by UFC Fight Pass, all the my whole production team gets picked up, then we can talk money.
so
But
speaking of
not in a
UFC
position to
Fight
have that talk
Pass,
right now.
speaking of Fight Pass, what do you need to get picked up at UFC Fight Pass and have your show on the UFC Fight Pass? What do you need to do? Like, what are the
Time,
processes?
time, just time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have my first show Memorial Weekend. It's a 2-day event. So Saturday, Sunday, we're gonna have MMA fights on Saturday, Muay Thai fights on Sunday, and just getting that experience of running a successful promotion. And once I can show it's successful, once I can show the quality of fighters and how we're growing, then I'll be able to have that sit down. We're also debuting my documentary, True Grit, the story of Ocho. So
When is it coming out? Yeah. When is it coming
I'm
out? Like,
debuting it in
exactly.
the theater. It's a private screening on Memorial Weekend. But once I do the
Wow.
private screening, then I'm going to pitch that to UFC Fight Pass. So that's
I
something
believe they
that
will put it on the UFC Fight Pass. They have to, like,
Yeah.
I
they
mean,
have
you
to.
would think they would want the story of Ocho, especially now that I've retired.
Yeah, I mean, they should. A lot of fans want to know. Like, I'm sure a lot of fans will watch this podcast and know why you retired and you explained it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that a lot of people will tune in to watch your documentary, and I will watch it myself.
Yeah.
I actually haven't seen a good documentary like for a while now. Like the last documentary that I watched was like Hunting Hitler. I don't know if you watched that. Have you watched it?
Yeah, yeah.
Now, have you finished it though? I kind of got lost after
I don't watch a lot of
season
TV, but
three.
I watched a little bit of it. See, I'll send you a little promotion for my documentary, just a little
Yeah,
little
put
hype.
it. Yeah, send it, and I'll put it on my Instagram, the YouTube, and
Okay,
Yeah.
Twitter, all that. I
so
will 100% do that. But I only watched fucking Hunting Killer because it had Tim Kennedy in it, and I'm a huge fan of Tim Kennedy. The only reason that I watched it, I don't know, And I got through it, and I'm like, man, this shit makes sense, right?
Yeah.
It kind of makes sense. Like, yeah, Hitler went there, and there were evidence there, and all that stuff. But hey, that's in the past, right? We're
Yeah.
here with Steven Peterson. We're gonna talk to him. He's the man of the hour. So
Thank you.
let's let's say did you see the Nate Diaz and
Jake
Jake
Paul.
Paul fight got announced
Yeah, I
today?
saw that today, man. I think that's great. It's great that Diaz is getting payday still. It's an interesting fight. Who knows what's gonna happen, right?
Yeah. Well, who do you think is gonna get the win though? But with Jake Paul, he's beating a lot of MMA guys, but he's never
Yeah,
beaten a guy like
I
Nate
think
Diaz.
I think Diaz is gonna take it, but Paul's got the power advantage, no doubt. So
Yeah,
Diaz is gonna fight a really smart fight, which he usually doesn't.
yeah, yeah. I mean, he's been taking leg kicks and he never fucking changed the fucking stance. Like Rafael dos Anjos, Conor McGregor, fucking Jorge Masvidal, they don't really land the leg kicks. Leon
Yeah.
Edwards, Tony Ferguson. You take all that and you might go, yeah, I think I might need to change my stance a little bit here, you know.
Yeah.
But he never did that. Same thing with Michael Chandler, right?
Oh,
Michael Chandler, he should like, I'm getting hit too much.
Yeah,
Maybe
some
I
guys
should
never
keep my
change.
hands up.
Yeah, some guys never make those little adjustments. If Diaz knew how to wrestle, it would be a whole different ball game.
Yeah, like
But he
he's
never
got the
learned.
submission. He's got a submission, but the wrestling, nah.
Hmm.
He you take him down, him on his back, maybe some. But him taking you down, I don't think
Not
so.
gonna happen. Yeah.
Not gonna happen, man. So yeah, so funny thing is we had a coach trying to teach us how to wrestle like Nate Diaz. And me being the guy who I am, I analyze the fights and all the fighters and all that. I'm like, I was sitting there and I'm telling my friend, I'm like, man, this dude's a fucking fraud. Like wrestling like Nate Diaz, maybe
Yeah.
jiu-jitsu, like grappling and all that, but not wrestling. Like, have you ever seen like Nate Diaz go for a double leg?
Oh, I've seen it. It's not pretty.
Yeah, it's not pretty. It's not pretty, man. Yeah. And this guy was like, yeah, you gotta do this. And he was like going through all the fucking single legs and the double legs and the fucking all that. I was like, man, I wish I could tell you. I wish I could tell you and I ruin you. But this guy was a fraud. And he was like asking for like $150 a session just to teach you how to like wrestle Nate Diaz. I left the gym out soon after because of that same shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, shit like that makes you fucking rage quit, right?
Yeah, man. There's a lot of coaches in the game that don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, like fucking. Have you ever had any, interactions with these pad holders? They're not even pad holders. They're just pretenders. Have you ever had any
Too
interactions with
many.
them? Funny
Too many.
stories?
I don't want to put anybody on blast, online, but oh, they know in person. I'll let them know. I'll let them know face to face.
So, like, when you were, let's say you were at this gym, and they were teaching you all these wrong things, like how to throw the punch the wrong way and all that, and you left that gym, and then you found out that you were lied to, what would you say to those coaches? Like, if you had the chance,
Well, I tell them they don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
and would you ask for your money back?
I didn't pay no money until I found somebody that knew what they were talking about.
I did, and I almost got my ass kicked, but guess what? I've got that fucking right hand. I was like, hey man, this shit you've been teaching is like shit. Literally, it's shit. I want my money back. He was like, no, I ain't giving you no fucking money back. I was like, all right, bet. Give me the fucking money. And he started fucking attacking me and all that. That's how I got this fucking scar right here. There's a scar on my hand. See, I don't know if you can see
You're
it.
gonna fuck around and find out, man.
Yeah, I fucking landed on right hand. Like, you fucking give me my fucking money back, motherfucker. He threw a fucking rock at me. I was like, I beat the fuck out of him, and I was going home, and he was like, "Yo," I was like, I turned back. He fucking threw a rock. It hit right here. Shit, man. Fucking. people like scammers. They're either online, off in the real world. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
In the fight promotion, did you have any fight promoters, promoters and all that that are liars and are scammers? Have you had those interactions?
Most of them. Most of
Like,
them. The UFC is the one league that took really good care of me. Legacy, LFA, they treated me really nice as well. Um, most of the other ones,
nah, not so much,
they
yeah.
just use you. Yep, they'll just use you.
So how does fighting in the lesser leagues work? Like sea level, like first fight, second fight. How does it work? How do you get paid as a professional and an amateur? Like,
As an amateur, you don't get paid. As a professional, you get paid a couple $100, basically enough to cover your gym dues, maybe cover your medicals. So yeah, you're not making any money until you make it to the big leagues.
wow, that is. I mean, this is the thing about MMA. You sometimes there you cannot really make it, right? Like this is like I want to pursue MMA. I'm actually an amateur fighter. I'm 7-0, 7-0 with fucking my last fight was a fucking no contest. Yeah, I tell you why. I fucking beat the crap out of the guy. He fucking tries to take me down, right? And I pull guard. He tries to go for a double leg, and I was like, fuck it. I pull guard, go for a triangle, fucking ref stops the fight. Can you believe that shit?
Happens, man. It happens. There's bad refs too.
Yeah, like I hit him, and then he hit me, and then he went for a double leg. I throw my fucking leg up for a triangle, and it was there. And I was this close to getting a win. And the ref was like, "No, it's over." I'm like, "What? What happened?" He was like, "Oh, you got knocked out." I'm like, "What do you mean? What do you mean I got knocked out?" I'm pretty sure he had money on the other guy. I'm 100% sure. It turned out, to be honest with you, it turned out that the guy was actually a pro fighter who faked his amateur license. He got his amateur license. He faked it so he could get some easy competition. That's
Where are
what
you fighting at? Like what country?
I'm Middle Eastern. I'm still living in fucking Middle East.
So
Yeah, we
yeah,
can.
there's probably a lot of
Yeah,
shady
like
promotions
we
out
can
there.
still hear the AKs. I'm just joking, man. We don't. Nah, that shit only happens in fucking Afghanistan and Syria. So
Yeah,
yeah, this is the fucking thing that happens to us amateur fighters. We get fucked over. We get, um, you know, they take our money, fucking sell tickets. They don't give you your money and all that. But with your league, I'm pretty sure you can help a lot of young kids coming up.
Yeah.
Give them enough light, give them enough promote them enough so they can achieve their goal. And honestly, when I see a guy like you, a respectable fighter, do all these things, I feel like, man, this sport can evolve so much because guys that went in there and knew what they want, but they didn't get it, they can give those things to these kids that they need right now. You know what I'm talking about? Like I said,
yeah. I want
healthcare
to
and all
build. I
that.
want to
Yeah,
build them up. I want to build them up. I want to change the way things go. I want to change the scoring system. I have a lot of other goals, and that's not gonna happen with me fighting. So
yeah.
that's from the outside, I can make these things happen. I can promote
I
fights. I can work with the commission to work on new scoring systems, find something that works. So that's where my goal is.
yeah, because this fucking scoring system is fucking
Yeah.
really fucking with people, right? Like if you go like score the fight, like the entire fight at once. Anyone who landed a fucking most strikes wins, like most strikes, most takedowns, most control times wins. Maybe he did all of that in one round and got fucked in the other rounds, and then he gets the win. That's a bit unfair, right?
Yep. There's a lot of ways that
Yeah,
you can judge the fights, but it needs to be agreed upon. It can't just be 10-9. So yeah,
yeah,
10-9 is got to go, and we got to find a system that works better.
yeah. I mean, I agree with you in a lot of fights. I believe, to be honest with you, I believe you won the Julian Erosa fight. Yeah, I
Yeah,
believe that. I believe that. you got fucked over by the judges. This shit
Yeah.
happens, man. You remember the fucking gave Chito Vera the fight against fucking what was his name? Corey Sandhagen? Shit like
Mhm.
that. Like what are these people doing? Like, do they even care? Like they don't know. They don't care. They don't yeah, it could be. It could be. But to be honest with you, if we held them accountable, like after the fight, hey, you got this, you did this, you gave the fight to fucking Cheetah. Why? If they don't come up with a good reason, don't pay them. Don't pay them. Suspend their license. Don't let them work. You know,
I
and
absolutely agree.
then you can have a lot of that shit. And right there and then, like one of the judges, I would throw his name out there. I don't fucking care. Fucking Saul D'Amato, Chris Lee, guys like that, they're fucking idiots. And I don't care if I offend anybody, but it's the fighters, man. You're taking away their money. They're taking damage, and yeah, all right, I believe that I got the job done. Now you go. Who are the judges? Chris Lee and fucking Sal D'Amato. Oh shit, man. Even though I beat him 10-8 every round, I might not get the fight. I might not get the win. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I look forward to seeing your documentary. I look forward to
Yeah.
seeing your league. It's absolutely amazing what you're doing. We don't have a lot of time left. I'm a cheap bastard. I don't like to pay for fucking Zoom Pro. You know what I'm talking about? Because
Yeah,
it's a
you
scam.
check out Google Meet. Start using Google Meet. It's a lot easier, a lot more seamless.
Yeah,
But yeah, check out go to ochotv.net and you can see my page. You can see basically a lot of what our current events are, what we're up to right now. So I'll constantly keep that updated with what we're doing. And yeah, you definitely want to stay tuned. Check me out on Instagram at 8ocho08, Twitter, same thing. And then Ocho TV, Ocho UFC on Twitter. No, Twitch. Twitch, Ocho UFC.
yeah.
So we'll be
Gotcha.
streaming reactions to the fights. I'll be streaming some promotional stuff to push my projects, and we'll also be streaming some of the fights on Twitch as well.
That is amazing, guys. This is the future of mixed martial arts right there. You've seen the sport evolve. This is history right here, right? You know what I'm talking about? We're like 10 years, 20 years in the future.
It's the
Who
passing of the
started
torch,
this?
right?
Yeah,
So look, Jorge Masvidal has this league now.
yeah,
Diaz has this league. Cowboy
Yeah.
started a league. I don't know if it was successful or not, but the Eagle, Khabib started his own
yeah,
league. So
yeah.
we're now in the position to where now the fighters are starting to promote, and the good business minded fighters are going to be very successful, and they're going to be able to change the game and help these young up and coming fighters.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that guys like you will. And thank you for your time. You've only got 2 minutes left. So
Yes.
yeah, shout out to Steven. Thank you for taking the time, my friend. It was a pleasure talking to you. So Ocho TV, go check him out. His documentary will come out soon. His Fight Fit
OchoTV.net.
League, yeah. OchoTV.net. Go check him out. I will put a link to his
Yeah.
Instagram, his social media, all that in the description down below. Thank you guys for watching. It's been a pleasure talking to you both, gentlemen.
Yeah.
And we've got a lot of surprises for you guys. We still got a lot of guests. This was surprise number one. Steven was surprise number one. We've got a lot of guests coming over. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Peace.
Peace.